If you want it, you can grab it with your hands. Nothing's out of reach. If you really want something, if you need it, you can grab it with your hands. Nothing's out of reach. If you really want something.
Hello to all you wonderful people out there. Welcome to Jamaican Experience. I am Gabi and today I'm going to tell you about the visit from my friend's father in Jamaica, the visit from my husband, yes, he finally came, our first reggae sunsplash, and how we got robbed. A big thank you to all the people who subscribe to our channel. Continue to do so. And please remember to subscribe, share and comment below. So after we worked like a month in Germany, because remember we have to make some money to pay for our flights because they were quite expensive in those days. Not that they are much cheaper now, but I believe back then they were much more expensive. And also for our living expenses, so we always try to make some money down there. This time we flew back over New York for a change, to give Miami a break from us. So we flew over New York, which was quite an experience. New York is just awesome. The thing was, we only spent one night there. We stayed at one airport hotel because the next day we were leaving for Jamaica on Air Jamaica, of course. And so we decided to take a taxi and go straight to Manhattan. And boy, let me tell you, I fell in love with New York. I think my friend too. In New York, everything is just so different. It's so much more bigger. The skyscrapers, the big roads, the gigantic sidewalks, and the millions and trillions of people, the hustling and bustling, and it was just awesome. So we promised ourselves we definitely will be back, but then with more time on our hand. So after we finally reached home the next day, finally back in Jamaica. So the first thing I remember was we went to Reggae Sunsplash with some tips from our friends. They said, don't carry anything valuable. Put your money somewhere where nobody can see it, touch it, feel it or whatever. And don't carry no jewels, no big camera and nothing. Just go like plain as possible. And that's what we did. I hid some money in my shoes. My friend did so as well. I had a small handbag with a comb in there, a deodorant, and nothing really important, believe you me. And that's how we went there. So when we got there, you have to remember, it's a thing, it lasts over more than one day. Some people even sleep there. So we just had a ticket for the day. Let's talk for the night, because we came in the evening to see our main act, because we actually came there to see Shawaranks. In those days he was one of my favorite artists, and it was quite interesting because in the back from the place a lot of people were sitting down on the ground, laying down, smoking some ganja, drinking and just relaxing and having a wonderful time. You could hear the music and the vibes were just really perfect. Later on we went a little bit further down, more like to the middle, where people were more closer to each other. And I remember it was really so weird. It was one of the weirdest things ever happening to me. I felt somebody going into my jeans pocket there behind, like, you know, and I could really feel it. He searched one pocket, he went into the next pocket, and I turned around and I looked in this man's face. He was just broadly smiling at me like nothing happens, also, and he keep on searching my pockets. I mean, imagine that, really? By the end of the day, the only thing was missing was my deodorant, right? I don't know what whosoever did with my deodorant, also I hope they get happy with it. Later in the evening, shortly before Shawaranks came on, we decided we have to move on to the front, right to the front, like, yeah. And that's what we did. So Shawaranks finally came on and it was really awesome. The only thing I had a problem with, it was the crowd. were pushing and shifting and all this and close, and I felt like I was really getting sick. So I felt like I was fainting any moment, so I had to get away from there no matter what. I don't know if you know that feeling also when you don't see anything anymore, everything just turns black, your knees are wobbly, and you just feel like you faint any moment. It's just awful. So we just left. I had to. So I left so fast. I think I run over half of the people them. I didn't really care. I just run and try to get away from there and to get some fresh air, some breeze, and where not so much people were. And I finally got a spot, sat down for a while, and that's where I started to feel a little bit better. All in all, people, I only can recommend you to go to Reggae Sunsplash. It's once a year, it's an experience of a lifetime. It's people from all over in the world coming to that event. There are many more in Jamaica, it's not the only one. You know, music is a big thing over there, and it's something you need to see for yourself. And I mean, by the way, pickpockets you can't find anywhere. Even in Frankfurt here, there are pickpockets all over the place. So, you know, don't be discouraged by that. Then after a while, it was time for my friend's father's visit. I mean, both of us were really scared. Number one, the father and I never really got along. He always thought of me. I mean, imagine me. I'm such a nice person, but he thought I'm a bad influence. Do you believe that? And so I thought also this can't go well, and I was like, oh my god. So we cleaned the house from top to bottom and again and over and tried to make the best out of it, and the two of us were so nervous because even my friend, she didn't have a good relationship with her father. Honestly don't. But funny how when he finally arrived, it was so much different. Nothing but we did expect it. He was sweet as he can be. I mean, it was like a different person was coming. He even talked about adopting me. I mean, I had a stepfather which he never adopted me, right? So it would be possible. And they were quite well off, so money wasn't a problem. So that was quite an experience. I couldn't believe what he said. Then he also said he wanted to buy some property in Jamaica, so eventually he could come down here and stay in his own house and have a nice time and probably watching a bit over us. And we looked at some properties. I remember one in Trelawney, right at the beach, and it was a house, wow, people, I can't tell you, it was wonderful, right at the beach also, with a swimming pool and everything you could just imagine. It was a dream, but it never happened. He also said that he was willing to buy a car for us, which we could run as a taxi. So from the money what we did have then as income, I would pay back my share. So it would be half mine and half hers. I was so excited and over the moon. Because from when first I set foot on Jamaica, so back then taxi was really a good thing to do business with and make some money and have some income. So I was really excited about that. So after his holiday was over, our next visit came in, and guess who that was? Yes, my husband. He came. Finally he came. After all that time also, yes, I'm soon come. I have to work some more money also, but I'm coming. So he finally came, and he brought along a guy, a friend he met somewhere, I don't know. Pretty soon my friend and Uli's friend, they got involved and had a short thing going on. And I remember this one time we decided we want to go to Pier 1. I mean, we showed him the island, showed him all the nice things and stuff what we already discovered, and he thought it would be worth sharing. So definitely Pier 1 was on the list because it's really an experience for itself. So we went to Pork Pit first. That was the old Pork Pit back then, which are much nicer location than where it is now. If you ask me, it's my personal opinion. And we stayed there, we eat, we had a couple of drinks, and then we walked from Bottom Road going to downtown Montego Bay. And then we decided to take a shortcut. I mean, everybody says don't take shortcuts, also walk where the light is and so, but hell no, we have to take the shortcut. So we walked the shortcut, everything went well so far. My friend and Jürgen, I think I can't say his name, they crossed the road. And I was the next one who crossed the road, and before that even Uli said, I have to pee. And I just keep on walking, I crossed the road and we turned around and we saw Uli, and funny how he took his purse from his behind there, his wallet, and he took out some money, at least it seems like that, because remember we were across the road, it was very dark and we didn't know what the hell we should make out of that entire situation. It wasn't like he was shouting, oh hell, I'll get robbed here or something. No, he didn't say anything. I guess he was just scared too. So the three guys together with Uli crossed the road and came to where we were. All of a sudden I felt a knife in my back. And the people said, give me all what you have. I remember my friend, she got all her things taken, jewels, money, anything you can imagine what she had with her. Stupid anyway, I mean, how you can carry so much jewels, I'm talking real jewels. That German guy, he had real gold chain, rings and stuff, like everything just gone. So nobody had no more money. So I remember after they went to my friend and they more concentrated on her, I kept walking with Jürgen, so we kind of walked ahead and I gave him my money because I thought they already robbed him. Maybe by any chance or so they wouldn't do it again, or they wouldn't even see what I was doing there, so I gave him the money I had. So at least he would have some money for taxi and so later, right? To go back home. And that's what I did until I heard stop. So we turned around and there were the three guys again, like, unfortunately. And they searched me. They took my handbag from me and they searched. They couldn't find anything. He almost got mad over that. I mean, it's better to leave a couple of cents in there, though at least he find something instead of having nothing. He wanted to take my choperator. My ears ring, they were false. My choperator was false. I didn't have any real jewels with me. And I don't know if I was brave or just plain stupid. I told that guy to give me back my choperator because it's fake. I mean, imagine, really? And that's what I did. So I said that to him also, you actually give it back to me. So after that also they just let me go. I was shaking all over and I guess the rest of us same way. So we went to Pier 1, had a couple of drinks and decided to go to the police station the next day because it was so late already. And that's what we did. We went to the police station, told them everything what happened, and they showed off a couple of sort of books like with pictures, you know. So funny how we actually recognized the three people. And they got caught on another incident where they tried to rob the couple. They tried to rob the couple there, and that's how they get caught. So they ended up in jail. So we were asked to come to the police station and we were asked if we can recognize them. I still remember the guy with the choperator who actually gave it back to me. He was so young. He was in handcuffs. He was just sitting there like he couldn't hurt a fly. Almost felt sorry for him. Yeah, stupid me. And we went to court later on. It's just me and my friend because the other two guys obviously left back for Germany. And court was another experience in Jamaica. I mean, with the white wigs, nothing like in Germany. It's more like a English style, British. With the white wigs, very serious. I mean, court is obviously serious, right? And that judge actually asked me what my husband thinks if I'm all the time in Jamaica. I mean, I didn't know what that have to do with the subject, but yeah, hell yes. She also said how white people can be sure if that was the right person, because we always get black people mixed up, like we can't recognize the face. Which in a sense is true. Like the first couple of weeks you really confused. You only go by size or height or darker or not so dark or whatever, I don't know. But that changed pretty fast. After you live there for a couple of months and so you really get used to that. So, and we were sure, those were the guys. So all of them got prison. So that was the end of the story. So guys, this was it for today. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. Next time I will tell you about my first experience with a real-time drug lord. About my experience with that bush doctor. And until such time, take good care of yourself and bye bye.
Yeah, your heart is a sun and it shines as it opens.
Well, your heart is a sun and it shines as it opens.
Yeah, your heart is a sun